As we think about operators and where they're focused on 5G service evolution, it can't be about speed anymore. Consumers are presented with lots of options as it relates to 5G services, and we know that operators have to differentiate themselves first in how they engage with customers. One of the things we've been focused on at CSG and we think is super important for operators is to think about how they communicate and engage with customers on their terms, how we create specific journeys, how we elevate those journeys, and how we engage with customers at moments that matter. So as we think about the service evolution for operators and the 5G services that they need to deliver, it really starts with customer engagement. As you walk into a stadium and want to engage with a 5G service, how does the operator communicate with that individual customer about the services that might be available to them? As you land in a new city and maybe are roaming for services, how does an operator engage with you to try to attract your attention and gain that new consumer? As you walk into TM Forum and maybe get a new Wi-Fi service or elevated experience, how does the forum actually engage with the customer on the operator's behalf? Those are all the kinds of things that CSG is working on as part of our journey orchestration suite to really bring CX to the front of that of customer experience on a go-forward basis. AI has been around for a long time. We've been using predictive AI in our solutions to help operators try to understand and predict the behaviors that a customer might expect. Generative AI is really changing the game, right? We're starting to put now natural language in front of these AI machines and starting to get more engaged on a personal level with the end consumer. So it's not about predicting the best behavior for a group of customers based on preference data or behavioral data or geographical data, but it's actually putting the customer in control about how they engage with their operators and ask for the things that are most important to them. I think that's the shift we're going to see, and really putting the control back in the hands of the customer. The operators, the telcos, sit on massive amounts of customer data, network data, and insights that they can use to start to build next generation services. So one of the things that we're looking to do is really ground a lot of these large language models, these AI machines, in that industry specific data so we can help operators really unlock what that means for their end consumers. Let me give you an example of some of the things that we've done to do this. We launched a product several years ago that looked at the anomalies in the network to detect maybe when there was SIM box fraud happening, when there was numbers of calls that were going out to customers that were fraudulent, helping the operators identify that earlier and actually provision the network to stop those calls in advance can help them save money, but more importantly, create a much better customer experience on how they engage with their consumers. As I mentioned, we've used predictive AI in a lot of these models, machine learning in a lot of these models, and I think those models continue to get enhanced as we feed these large language models now on the generative AI side with private data, secure private data that allows them to really ground the models not on public information, but on information that's pertinent to the operator and the operator's customers. Another key initiative that's been talked a lot about at these forums is how the operators really start to monetize and accelerate 5G innovation. We see this happening in new ecosystems, and it starts with making the systems easily accessible to the partners. That starts with partner enablement, partner onboarding, and how we engage those partners into that ecosystem. Two, it's about unlocking then the value of those partner ecosystems. How do we settle with those partners as services are consumed and leveraged? And the third is making these enterprise services more accessible and easier to use by your business customers. So in that sense, things like CPQ, where I can go in and configure, price, and quote the services on a dynamic way for the enterprise, that's a lot more complex than the consumer service is vitally important. But two, then how do we provision the network? So how do you complement the configure, price, quote with the order elements that provision the network? And then finally, how do you then layer in that customer engagement? Customer engagement isn't just about how you engage with your B2C customers, but how you engage with your enterprise customers as well. As these orders become more complex, as there's more fulfillment requirements, how you engage with those customers throughout the life cycle of that order becomes paramount to the success of that enterprise service.
The most important experience your customer will ever have might already be happening. So why wait to make an impact? CSG empowers companies around the world to make it easier for people and businesses to connect to, use, and pay for the services they value most. We have the SaaS solutions to ensure you're prepared for anything. We have the expertise you need to capitalize, no matter the conditions. We are a partner that will do whatever it takes, working together to build a better future. CSG.